you walk into this room at your own risk, because it leads to the future. Not a future that will be, but one that might be. This is not a new world. It is simply an extension of what began in the old one. It has patterned itself after every dictator who has ever planted the ripping imprint of a boot on the pages of history since the beginning of time. It has refinements, technological advances, and a more sophisticated approach to the destruction of human freedom. But like every one of the superstates that preceded it, it has one iron rule. Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys back after a long holiday. And I'm back too. Today is the 4th, Monday the 4th of January 2020. And we're getting started on this new year. I'm going to tell you guys what. There's an awful lot of fear out there with investors, but at the same time, there's an awful lot of greed. And the greed's revolving around cryptocurrencies. It's rapidly becoming the only game in town for investors to make the profits. And they're starting to realize that if they sell, to take profit, like say Bitcoin goes up to 35,000 and a lot of them sell off, some of them sell off anyway, and take profit, they're starting to realize that they can't hop back in at a cheaper price. That the thing is it's in such demand, it's going up so fast, it's becoming the only game in town where there's real big profit taking. Everything else is, there's no profit to be made. The market's tapped out. Everything else is tapped out. But I think this is just beginning, in the cryptos and also in gold and silver. And that's what's starting to get the bid now, and it's fear. There's a lot of fear out there right now, too, of something ominous coming. And there's something ominous out there. It's all the problems, systemic problems that we're having in the system right now. And the system, because of these systemic problems that are adding up, there's so many of them. Well, let me get this straight. There's the election problems out there with people feeling very upset on both sides of the spectrum. There's a whole big problem of the virus. Enormous world problem out there right now, the virus. I mean, I can't begin to state how big a problem. They have to shut down countries and everything. And, I'm going to tell you, there's this new strain, which is making it even worse. The vaccine rollout is way behind schedule. We've got huge problems in the world right now. And the United States financial system right now is one of the biggest problems of them all, but it's one of the most unnoticed problems. It's teetering on the edge of collapse, the entire world's financial system right now. And it's because the whole thing's been structured wrong to begin with. It's an enormous Ponzi scheme. And this is why we're actually seeing the tipping point coming now, and we're seeing the cryptocurrencies begin. And I know an awful lot of you out there, when I use the word begin, you're thinking to yourself, hey, come on, Glenn. This isn't the beginning. This is the end. I mean, look, Bitcoin's peaking and everything. They keep thinking it's peaking. But no, this is the beginning of the run into cryptos, gold, and silver. Because at the end of this rainbow, or maybe it's not a rainbow, at the end of this, because the situation when you get very expensive gold, silver, and crypto, the situation in the world might look terrible, But this is the beginning, I think, of this massive move. And it's, in fiat terms, we always assess things in the value of dollars. And this could be a rally where it's difficult to actually sell $4 because the dollar could lose value that quite fast. What we're looking at here is like when two magnets come together. You know, you got your magnets separated by distance, and at first the magnetic pull between them is very limited, and they're coming together very slowly. But in the last stages, it goes really fast. And this is how exponential function actually works. And we don't understand an exponential function very well. But all of these systems, Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies, are in an exponential function going upwards. The dollar's in an exponential function going downwards, and a situation has been created here it's never existed before. And so to try to read cryptocurrency right now in a normal market terms, you always think of correction. You always think of markets going up to a certain point and then having a correction, and nothing. You ever heard the old saying, nothing goes straight up? Well, in this case, this doesn't really apply anymore. The old study on the markets doesn't really, and chart studying and everything else none of it applies. It's all out the window now at this point because of the conditions that have been created, where you have an exponential function working in two different directions. For the fiat currencies down, and for the cryptocurrencies up, and this is just at its beginning. It could create a situation that happens that's unimaginable with not just the cryptocurrencies, but with gold and silver too. Because they're all such small markets. Gold market, silver market, cryptocurrency market, especially especially the silver market. It is absolutely tiny. And there's so much money been created out there to chase after these tiny little markets. You know, that these tiny little markets could become big markets, and the big markets now could become tiny in their value of their purchasing power. Let's move on. Let's get the chart started right here and take a look. Cryptocurrency today, we see these little drawbacks, and I think we're in one right now where the Bitcoin prices went back down to 31,600, 865 market cap on the coins. We're seeing these little drawbacks, but they're very limited and small. That's because I think that investors out there are really starting to think, hey, if I sell off my cryptocurrency right now to try to profit take, can I get back in at a cheap price? And there's people out there that's gobbling them up, the ones that are selling for profit. The people that are selling for profit right now, there's ones out there that are ready to gobble them up. And they think, okay, it's topped, it's peaked, it's went up to 34,000 or whatever. I'm selling, I'm top profit taking. So he does that. He sells and he profit takes. Somebody else gobbles them up, and then all of a sudden the price might go down to like 31,000 or whatever, just momentarily for a little while, and then it starts to move back up again, and it passes 30,000, heads to 40,000, and then he's saying, well, gee, I've sold my coins. I should have kept them. Oh, I should have kept them. Oh, I should have kept them. And when everybody starts to think that way, you won't get any downturns. And the same thing with gold and silver. If you've got the real physical, everybody's sitting on it. They're not selling. And it's just going up and up and up. Here, look at the silver price and gold price today. Gold's up $44 today, 1942. I'm going to tell you, this long argument out there between gold and silver and crypto guys. Crypto guys don't like the gold and silver guys. The gold and silver guys don't like the crypto guys. You're all winners. Both sides. It doesn't matter now. What matters is you got some. That's all that matters. And if you haven't got some, man, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, the fiat system's going down. If you're all in paper right now, I've been warning you guys for years. It could happen awful fast now, because we're at the final stages of an exponential. It could happen awful fast. It could happen in a matter of just a couple months, and you're sitting there with nothing. You might have $10 million in your bank account, and it just go right out from underneath you. It's what you could purchase. Yeah, you'll still have $10 million in your bank account when this is over, but you won't be able to buy an apple. You better start thinking. These are the only places, these are safe havens. The safest of the safe havens, in my consideration, is real physical metals. That's the safest one. And it's going to have astounding gains, I believe. But then again, cryptocurrency, it might be a little bit more risky, but you're going to see bigger gains, I think. Cryptocurrency, in my mind, I can never get around it. I keep thinking majorly risky in my mind. Even though I know it's probably going to go to the moon and beyond, I keep thinking to myself it's majorly risky compared to physical gold and silver. When you compare it, I don't see hardly any risk myself in physical gold and silver. I don't really, one of the most unrisky things I think you can hold. It better than, in my mind, better than money in the bank. Okay, gold is at 1942, and today silver is at 27.30. It's up 94 cents. Now, see, that's a big day for silver. Dow Jones today, it's off 399 points so far. I mean, the Dow Jones is sitting in a position where it could just shed 2,000 points in a day, and it would just be a little hiccup. That's where the Dow is right now. 399 points is nothing compared to what it could do if they all really get scared and start to sell. Crude oil, 48.11 today. Now, we're going to look at the MOVE index today, and it's 48.98 for the MOVE index, and it's moving upwards. This is your credit markets. That's why we keep a very tight eye on this. If it goes over 75, we got problems developing in the credit markets, this MOVE index. It's at 48.98 today. Bonds and rates today. We're seeing the bond yields rising on the long end of the yield curve, but only insignificantly. About 1.4 basis points on the U.S. 30-year at 1.65, and the U.S. 10 years at 0.92, and it's moved up 1.1. No, less. It's moved up insignificant, just 1/10 of 1 basis point or whatever. It's just like it's not really moving very much, but moving to the upside. Let's take a look now at U.S. dollar index. 89.78. Now listen, you guys, because of these major problems in the world, you have to be prepared. Very serious matter right now. Have you prepared a closet away in your house and put some emergency supplies in there? I'm going to just go over a quick list of the things you should have in your. Just pick a little closet and fill it with emergency supplies. In the bottom, put your bottled water. Then up above that, just above that, put your things like canned food. Put some canned food, cans of beans and and then above that, put the lighter things like potato chips. Get a whole big bag full of candy bars if you like candy bars. Now you're gonna also need to have in there a kit that will for cuts and scrapes and wounds, like bandages and stuff like that. A little kit, emergency preparedness kit. And you should have a fire extinguishers in your house. And there's a lot of things that you can maybe that I'm not mentioning. Don't forget toilet paper. You need toilet paper in there. You should have a couple decks of playing cards in there. And you actually should have a Monopoly board in there. You're saying, Glenn, why that? Because I'm going to tell you, if the power goes out for like 3 months, you're going to want something to do. You need batteries in there. You need flashlights in there. You need all kinds of things you need to have in a crisis or an emergency in your closet. Now, they sell these little radios. They're called I think SW radio or whatever, a sideband radio or whatever, and they can get all these different frequencies. And they get the ones that run on batteries. My personal one I have, it's only a small little thing. You can put it in your pocket. It runs on 2 AA batteries. Okay, and it's got like 5 or 6 bands. It's got a little antenna, and it can scan through these bands that the ham radio operators and stuff go on. You need things like this because in this kind of emergency, you just don't know how far it's going to go in this kind of situation that we're entering into right now in the world. Very dangerous situation we're entering into in the next month or two. and you just don't know how far things are going to go. So you need your emergency kits. We're going to see. None of it might happen. In other words, we might get off scot-free and move into the summer and start to have a bit of a recovery. Or things might break apart in a very disastrous way. Things might break apart in certain areas. Like if you're in that particular area. If you're in another area, you might be fine. We just don't know exactly how it's going to go. This whole thing, this whole thing moving into summer. Because we're moving over a hump right now. This is a very dangerous period. But once we get over that hump, I think things will start to calm back down again. But we're going to move through this period in time, over probably the next couple months. And this is a dangerous period in history, and it's mostly caused because of this virus out there. Has caused this unsettled world right now that we live in. Unstable. The system's become unstable right now, just for the next little while, so make sure you got your things and you're ready. Listen, thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, and we'll catch you guys in the very next episode. Bye-bye.